Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good. Because today we're taking a look at MrBeast.
MrBeast.
Yeah, and we've got some interesting stuff here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got information from his YouTube channel, obviously.
Of course, gotta have that.
But also, somebody sent in this fictional podcast script.
Interesting.
It's actually got some really interesting ideas about his life and his work.
Huh. Okay.
So I'm kind of curious to get into all that.
Yeah. No, this will be fun.
So I guess the big thing here is everybody knows MrBeast. They've seen the videos.
Right.
But what makes this guy tick?
What is it about him?
Yeah, and is it all just, viral videos for the sake of viral videos?
Or there's more?
Yeah, there's philanthropy, entrepreneurship.
A whole new definition of success, online at least.
Right, he's doing something different.
Totally.
So, I don't know, what are your first thoughts when you think about MrBeast?
Well, when I look at MrBeast, what really strikes me is how he's managed to turn giving back into this global phenomenon.
Huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to see how he got there. I mean, you go back and look at his early stuff.
Like the early videos.
Yeah, just a teenager making gaming videos, right? Yeah. Minecraft, Call of Duty, the classics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But even then, you can see the seeds of his future style.
It's crazy to think those simple videos are the foundation for what he's doing now with these massive giveaways and these wild challenges.
Did you see the one where he recreated Squid Game?
Oh, that was insane.
But think about it, even way back then, you see that dedication, that willingness to put in the hours.
The work ethic.
Yeah. There's this video from 2017 where he literally counts to 100,000.
No way, really?
It took him over 40 hours.
Oh my God.
And of course it went viral. Who wouldn't watch that?
That's crazy.
But it kind of foreshadowed, I think, the level of commitment he brings to everything he does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those over-the-top challenges, that's his thing now.
Yeah, but okay, so we see the dedication, but what about this whole philanthropy thing?
Right.
Is it genuine?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, is it just for clicks? Because we're talking serious money here.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he give away $1 million in one video?
He did. And there's a lot of debate about that,
Whether it's for real?
Yeah, and we'll get into the criticism a bit later, for sure. Okay. But for now, just think about the impact, right? He started MrBeast Burger.
That's a whole restaurant chain.
A free restaurant chain. Oh. And then the environmental projects, hashtag Team Trees, hashtag Team Seas.
I've heard of those.
Millions of people got involved.
Really?
Planting trees, cleaning up the ocean. That's real change.
Okay, so how does he afford all of this?
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Is it all ad revenue?
Well, he's incredibly business savvy from what I've gathered.
Okay.
He reinvests almost all his earnings back into the videos.
So that's how he keeps upping the ante.
Exactly. And plus, he's not just winging it,
there's a plan.
He's got a whole team. They're using data analytics, really digging into what works.
So there's a business mind behind all the spectacle.
Absolutely. He's built a brand, a whole empire, really.
Wow.
But even with all the success, it can't be easy.
What do you mean?
Navigating this world of online fame,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Especially when you're dealing with something as sensitive as giving back.
Right. Because there have been criticisms, haven't there?
Yeah. Definitely.
People questioning his motive.
Some people say it's all performative.
It's not really about helping.
Yeah, they question whether you can really be altruistic when you're making money from it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a valid point. But then you see how he responds to those criticisms.
How?
Openly, honestly, always coming back to his mission. Using his platform for good, And that resonates with a lot of people.
I guess it does.
It's he's found a way to make generosity.
Cool. You gotta admit, he does have a knack for capturing attention.
Oh, absolutely.
But doesn't that bring its own set of problems?
It definitely raises some interesting questions.
Like what?
Well, how do you stay grounded,
When you're living your life online.
Exactly. And can this kind of giving back be sustained? These are things we got to think about.
Yeah, that's true.
What are your initial thoughts on all this?
Honestly, I'm more intrigued than ever.
Really?
But before we go any further, I need to hear more about these criticisms.
Oh, okay.
Because if he's gonna be this role model for a new kind of online creator, I think we need to understand the full picture.
Yeah, you're right.
But like, it can't just be the spectacle.
We need to examine the complexities, the potential downsides too, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's dive in.
So you mentioned some people think his philanthropy is all for show. Like, what are the specific criticisms?
Well, some argue that by showcasing these extravagant giveaways, he's kind of creating a spectacle of generosity.
Okay.
And it's more about entertainment than genuine altruism.
I see.
There's this concern that it almost like devalues the act of giving.
Oh!
It turns it into clickbait.
Yeah, like, are the recipients just props in his videos?
That's one of the arguments, yeah.
Wow.
Critics also point out that this kind of high-stakes giving creates a dependency.
Oh, okay.
Sets an unrealistic standard that other creators, especially those with fewer resources, just can't match.
So it's not just about the intention, but also the potential consequences.
Exactly.
Unintended consequences.
And then there's the question of whether this model is even sustainable.
Sustainable, right.
Can he keep giving away millions of dollars indefinitely?
Yeah, I mean, how...
What happens when the novelty wears off?
Or when people get desensitized to it all.
Right.
Like, $1 million, that's life-changing for most people.
Oh, sure.
But after seeing it over and over again in these videos, does it lose its impact?
That's a really interesting point.
And what about the pressure on other creators? Like, is there a danger that they'll feel forced to replicate this model?
Yeah.
Even if it's not sustainable for them?
Absolutely. It's like a double-edged sword, right?
Totally.
He's doing good, no doubt.
Yeah.
But is he also creating a bit of a monster?
It's complicated.
It's complex. It forces us to think critically about philanthropy in the digital age.
Philanthropy in the digital age.
What are the ethical boundaries?
Yeah, where do we draw the line?
Between entertainment and genuine altruism.
Right. Tough questions.
Tough questions, but important ones.
It's important to have this conversation.
Definitely.
Because love him or hate him, he's changed the game.
Oh, he has, for sure.
He's redefined what's possible online, and I think that has ripple effects we're only beginning to understand.
Absolutely. He's pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's bound to generate controversy.
But at the very least, he's gotten people talking about this stuff.
He has. He's sparked a conversation about online giving.
And that's good, right?
And that's a good thing, yeah.
So even if you disagree with his methods, you gotta acknowledge he's gotten people talking about important issues.
Precisely. And ultimately, that's what matters.
Okay.
It's about raising awareness, inspiring action, pushing for a more compassionate and equitable world.
It sounds like you're saying his legacy might be less about the specific acts of giving and more about the broader impact he's had on online culture.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Okay.
He's a catalyst for change. And whether that change is ultimately positive or negative remains to be seen.
We'll have to see.
But he's forcing us to grapple with some important questions.
Yeah.
And that's a valuable contribution in itself.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of this. It's a lot to process.
It is.
But you know, one thing that really strikes me about him is this idea of using his platform to amplify the voices of others.
Oh, interesting.
He's constantly collaborating, giving them exposure to his massive audience.
That's a really interesting observation.
Yeah.
And it speaks to a larger trend in online content creation.
What's that?
This movement towards community and collaboration.
So it's not just about individual success anymore.
Right.
It's about using your platform to lift others up.
I think that's a big part of what resonates with his audience.
Makes sense.
It's not just about him, it's about the collective good.
The collective good.
He's creating a sense of shared purpose.
Okay.
And that's something people crave, especially in a world that can often feel isolating and disconnected.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
It's like he's built a movement, not just a channel.
Right. But you know, one thing I haven't heard much about is like what MrBeast himself has said about all this.
Oh, right.
Like, does he address these criticisms? Does he talk about his goals for the future?
That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
Because in interviews, he's talked about wanting to give away all his money before he dies.
All of it.
Like everything.
Wow, that's ambitious.
That's quite a statement.
What does that even look like in practice?
Right.
What are the long-term plans?
Well, he's already expanded beyond the main channel.
Oh yeah, he's got other stuff.
He's Philanthropy, his gaming channels, React channels, you know those.
I've heard of those.
Where people react to other videos.
Yeah.
It's like he's building a whole media empire.
Wow.
But with this underlying mission of doing good.
Okay, so there's a bigger vision here.
It seems so.
It's not just throwing money at problems randomly,
right,
but building something more strategic, more sustainable.
That seems to be the direction he's heading in, yeah.
But can he pull it off?
That's the big question.
Can he maintain this momentum? Can he avoid the pitfalls we've been discussing?
Yeah, it's almost too much to imagine giving away all that wealth.
It is.
But that brings us to the big question, right?
What's that?
What will MrBeast's legacy ultimately be? How will history remember him?
That's a fascinating question.
It is, and honestly, I think it's too early to say for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about the good and the bad and like all the complicated stuff when it comes to MrBeast.
Right.
But it's time to look ahead.
To the future.
Yeah, what kind of legacy could he leave behind?
Oh, he's already one of the most recognizable YouTubers, like, on the planet.
Huge.
His reach is incredible, but I think his true legacy, it really depends on whether he can turn this wave of attention
into real choice.
Into lasting change, yeah.
We talked about his goal of giving away all his money.
Right, that's a big one.
But like beyond that, how could he actually shape the world?
Imagine if he inspires a whole generation of creators.
Okay.
To incorporate giving back into their content, that could be a real game changer.
So it's not just about the money itself.
No.
But the values he's promoting.
Exactly. If he could make altruism like a core part of online culture,
that's huge.
That's a powerful legacy.
But it's a delicate balance, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It has to be authentic.
It can't just be a trend.
Yeah, we talked about the dangers of commodification, turning generosity into just another way to get views.
You'll have to navigate that carefully.
Yeah.
If it starts to feel forced or inauthentic, the whole thing could backfire.
That's true.
But if he can pull it off,
yeah,
if he can inspire real change, we might look back at MrBeast as a pioneer.
It's almost like he's conducting this social experiment on a massive scale.
It is, kinda.
And we're all just watching to see what happens.
And participating in a way, right?
That's true. His audience isn't just passively watching.
They're donating, they're sharing, engaging with these causes.
It's true. He's created this whole ecosystem of giving.
He has.
But what about the sustainability aspect?
Right.
We talked about how he can't just keep giving away millions forever.
That's where his business acumen comes in.
Okay.
If he can build a model that funds his philanthropy long term, that could be truly revolutionary.
So it's not just about the giving, but the systems he puts in place to support it.
Exactly. And he seems to be thinking about that.
Okay.
He's building this network of channels, diversifying his revenue streams, always looking for new ways to innovate.
It sounds like you're saying his legacy will depend not just on his good intentions, but on his ability to create a sustainable model for change.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also the question of how he manages his own fame.
Fame, right?
Can he stay grounded?
Yeah.
Focused on his mission. Because the bigger he gets, the more scrutiny he'll face.
And the more pressure to keep upping the ante.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes game he's playing.
For sure.
But he seems to thrive on that.
Yeah, he does.
Always pushing the boundaries, always looking for the next challenge.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes him so compelling to watch.
It's been quite a journey unpacking all of this, from those early gaming videos.
I know, right?
To these global philanthropic campaigns. He's certainly left his mark.
He has, and it'll be fascinating to see where he goes from here.
Where does he go from here?
Will he become a model for a new generation of creators? Will he achieve his goal of giving away all his money? Only time will tell.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's given us a lot to think about.
He has.
What does it mean to be successful in the digital age?
Right.
Can online platforms be used for genuine good? These are questions we'll be grappling with for years to come.
And that's maybe the most important part of his legacy.
Okay.
He's sparked a conversation, challenged our assumptions, and shown us that the future of online content is still being written.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this sense of wonder and possibility.
Wonder and possibility, I like that.
MrBeast has shown us that even in a world that can feel so cynical and divided, there's still room for hope, for generosity, and a little bit of crazy fun.
A little bit of crazy fun, gotta have that.
And who knows, maybe his story will inspire some of you listening to go out and make your own mark on the world.
That would be amazing.
Because as MrBeast has proven, even the most outlandish dreams can become reality.
They can.
With enough passion and dedication.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of human connection.
See ya.